Yo guys, so in my most unprofessional, casual sim racing opinion, iRacing is probably the best sim racing game that you can possibly play with the most realistic physics, not based on my opinion, but based on a lot of professionals that play the game. So in this video though, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why GT7 might be the better game for you to choose if you want to start sim racing, even though it might not be the most realistic or the most used by professional sim racers. So let's start off here. Let's start off with number 1, and this is the biggest thing for a lot of people, even people that own PCs, why they don't do iRacing. iRacing is very expensive. It is a subscription-based service, and GT7 is a one and done. You buy the game for $50, $60, $70, however much it is, and you're done. But GT7 does have, if you want to play online, I do call it a subscription service because you need PlayStation Plus to play the online features of GT7. So it will cost you a yearly subscription if you do want to play online. But iRacing is a very expensive game because on top of it, you have to pay for a subscription. And while you're paying for that subscription, it doesn't come with all of the cars and the tracks. So in addition, if you want to continue racing in iRacing, you need to continually buy cars, tracks, and they're not cars and tracks that are used every week. So you might buy a car or a track this week, and then comes the next week, it's not using that car and track, so you might have to purchase another thing. Yes, it gives you free stuff when you first sign up, but if you really want to continue in iRacing and move up and do a lot more from week to week, you do need to buy cars and tracks. Now that's just the price of the actual game itself, but now let's think about equipment. A PlayStation 5 you can pick up for what, like $400, and you can basically play the game and you're good. With iRacing, you can play it on a really low-end PC if you want to lower all your graphics down. So you are capable of actually playing the game on a lower-end PC. Now, if you want to use VR, that's a whole nother story. You're going to need to spend a lot more money, and I don't recommend a lower-end PC if you're going to use VR. So you're going to definitely have to up your price if you don't already own a computer, or if you own a computer to upgrade it. You know, I have a 3080, and I think that's like almost the starting point to really enjoy and really push VR. But the thing is, you know, lowering your PC to like a 2060 or a 2070 or even lower is, you're gonna really feel it in VR. You're gonna really have to lower your graphics down, and I just don't think the VR experience is gonna be that good. When you're taking GT7 on PSVR2, if you want to race in VR, and I only race in VR in iRacing and in GT7. PSVR2, you buy the headset, it's about $500, $550. You buy your PlayStation if you don't already own one. If you own one, that's half the price there already. But if you don't own one, the price of a VR2 headset for PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation 5 combined is going to be about $1,000. Your PC alone is going to probably be twice as much as that, plus a VR headset if you want to go VR racing in iRacing. So lots of things to think about when you're talking about money-wise. Number 2 is the ease of use. Now, PlayStation 5 and PSVR2 is basically plug and play. If you want to play in VR, you plug it in. There's no fiddling around with any settings. You're basically done. You just power it on. You're racing. You put your headset on. The whole game itself is available in VR, and it's just a great, easy experience. In iRacing, you're going to spend a lot more time tinkering. You're going to have to change settings around. You're going to have to mess around with stuff based on your system, because everyone's running a different system. So there is no one setting for you. There is everyone needs to adjust and keep playing around with settings, and it's going to take it takes more time just to set everything up. Now, I think iRacing is one of the most PC sim racing friendly games that I found. Everything is very intuitive and very easy, I feel, to use. But for someone who might not be as tech savvy or just doesn't want to spend the time figuring things out, it's gonna definitely be more challenging to use something like iRacing. If you want to just hop into a race and just enjoy sim racing and want to do something really quick and easy, and you want to race in VR on top of it, then PlayStation 5 and GT7 with PSVR2 is unbeatable for that. It's just the simplest way to hop into VR racing, and it's just a great experience. Now, number 3, iRacing does not offer any kind of full, let's start this way. iRacing does offer AI racing, so you can race against AI opponents, but it's not available for every track, not available for every car, and it's not, I wouldn't call it a single player game. It's all about racing. iRacing just gives you an experience. It's all about the race itself. But also understand that if you do not pay your subscription, even for AI racing, you can't play the game. So all the stuff you bought and everything, if you're not going to keep continuing your subscription, you can't play iRacing at all. Anything that you bought can't be used until you renew your subscription. Now with GT7, if you're interested in single player game and single player modes, there's a whole story mode with GT7. Now it's not my thing, but I know people really enjoy the single player mode of GT7, and you can play for hours and months and years just attacking the single player story mode. For me, it's too much reading. It's too much. It's just too much about things that I enjoy just the racing part of it. But there is just so many cars. There's so much history of racing and history of cars and things you can learn in GT7. And there's just so many races, so many different things you can do within the game. There's licenses, and you can just keep practicing things, and you can race things, and then you can gain money within the game that you can purchase other cars with and stuff like that. So the whole single player mode and GT7 definitely gives a lot of attention to their single player game because it's so in depth and there's just so many cars in the game from all the way back to years and years and years to cars of today. So it's really, if you're a car enthusiast, you're gonna really like GT7. iRacing doesn't really offer you that. iRacing is basically, if you just want to hop in and you want to do racing, that's iRacing. GT7 can also give you that experience, but it also has a whole other aspect of the game that you won't get in iRacing. Now, next thing is your time. How much time do you have to play? For me, I enjoy GT7. I do the online racing, and I can hop into an online race every 15 minutes. You can hop into a race because then there's short online multiplayer races, and they happen often. In iRacing, there's a lot of multiple races going on all day, but if there's one race you specifically like, and it has to be one of the more popular ones, they only run about once an hour. So if you miss it by like 10 minutes, you can't just wait there for a couple minutes, do some practice runs and wait. You have to like come back like 45 minutes later, 50 minutes later, and hope to catch the next one. Now, if it's not a popular series that you're interested in racing, it might not happen for every like 2 or 3 hours. So there are races going on all day, but I like to just be able to hop in, put the game on, and know within a couple of minutes that I'm going to be able to race. And that's the thing with GT7, is if you don't have all this time and hours, to spend a day, and you just want to hop in, do some races, GT7 is friendly in this way that there's just online multiplayer races going on very, very often. So it's just a great hop in race. And even if you have 30 minutes, you can hop into a race no matter what time you put that thing on. If you have 30 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on when that next race starts, and it's going to usually start pretty soon, you're good to go. You're racing, you can put it on, be done, and then you're out. So, time management, how much time you have available to race and how quickly you want to be able to hop into things is something to take into consideration. And GT7 definitely, holds the win here, even though iRacing does have a lot of races going on all day long. So you can do multiple different races if you have all the stuff that you required. If you buy all the stuff for the different races, you can be racing all day long. It's just not the same type of race. You have to hop into a lot of different types of races. And last but not least, and this not important to me, but might be important to someone like you, is GT7 is much more controller friendly. iRacing, you are able to use controllers in iRacing, but it's not really a big thing. So most players in iRacing will be using a wheel and pedals, which is my recommendation anyway. But if you're not interested in buying a sim rig, GT7 is definitely much more controller friendly, probably easier to control the cars, has more assist to help you with controller handling. And there's a lot of good controller players in GT7, where if you're in iRacing, while you can do it on controller, you know, it's highly recommended to go wheel and pedals. I also recommend it in GT7 wheel and pedals because there's just no other, I feel like there's no other experience. You're not just going to get the same experience on a controller, but much more friendlier if you're looking, if you enjoy a controller, you don't want the whole sim rig and you just want to, you know, just have fun and just sit down at your couch and put a little controller in your hand. GT7 is definitely the winner here for controller players. So that was just 5 reasons why I think GT7 might be a better choice for you. Is there a better sim overall? No, it's a matter of what your preference is. It's a matter of what you're looking to do, what your budget is, what your time is, and just, you know, how much you want to get out of it. But as far as learning how to drive a car and a race car, you will have to use the same techniques in GT7 or iRacing to be good at the game, at racing, to be competitive with better players. Even though cars might handle differently between the 2 games, and one might be, quote, more realistic than the other, it's still using the same technique, and I find no problem hopping from one game to the other with the same techniques that I learned in GT7 going to iRacing when it comes to like road racing, because I did start in ovals and moved to road racing when I went to GT7, but I can still use the skills I learned in GT7 road and just transfer that right over to iRacing, and it just feels really comfortable. Anyway, so that was just my opinion. I know a lot of people are probably gonna have some other opinions, so definitely leave it in the comments. Just be respectful of others in the comments as well. Again, it's opinions. There's no right or wrong opinion. I just wanted to say why GT7 might be better for you, but there's plenty of people where I think iRacing is better for them. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thumb it up, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. We out of here. Peace.